Welcome to Airborne on 88.5 FM WFCF and Flagler College Radio, as well as staugustine.com, bringing you interesting people from your world so you can stay dialed into your community and the folks who make it tick. I want to welcome to Airborne's viewers BarrySands. Barry, how are you today?
Nice to be back. Nice to be back with an image.
It's good. Exactly. It's so good to have you. And you and I go back from doing the radio spots on Flagler College Radio. I want to bring our viewers up to date on who is BarrySands. You have an august career in broadcasting, from names, if I may, from our listeners, working with the likes of Jackie Gleason, Alan Funt, Norman Lear, and then bringing us in the 70s, Second City TV, the Eugene Levy's, the John Candys, the Martin Shorts, and all the great people there. And then you discovered some guy in the 80s by the name of David Letterman.
Absolutely. And
took that all, and you were involved with television, as I like to say, at its peak, when we only had 3 choices on television back then. Now we've got, 500 channels and growing?
That's absolutely.
But you're here in St. Augustine teaching at Flagler College to our communications majors at the Flagler College Communications Department. What a wealth of information that these students get to learn from you. And I just wanted to give our viewers some background on your career, because as you and I discuss off camera and any chance we can, there's just fascinating things going on in media nowadays.
Yeah.
And I was wondering if you could share with us some of the things that you are teaching communications majors nowadays.
Well, the amazing thing is the world has changed from when I was doing television. There's been a quantum leap. It's not the same business anymore. It's a completely different world. The world of broadcast television is older. We're now in the digital age.
Yeah.
And things are changing faster than we could imagine. When I watch television, I watch television.
Right.
I didn't get it from my phone.
Yeah.
I didn't get it from my computer. I didn't TiVo. I didn't have television that was designed for me. We didn't have the web. We didn't have YouTube. We didn't have Facebook. We didn't have any of that stuff.
Man.
If you wanted to watch television, you turned on your television.
Right.
There was I guess you would call it a universal understanding of what it was.
Right.
If you watched the Mary Tyler Moore Show, everybody watched the Mary Tyler Moore Show.
Precisely.
If you wanted to talk about Candid Camera, everybody talked about Candid Camera. It used to be called the water cooler mentality.
Right.
Well, the water cooler is gone.
Yeah.
It's been replaced by the iPod or the BlackBerry or whatever you want to call it. And the whole idea of the broadcasting no longer exists. It's now called narrowcasting.
Thank you. What is narrowcasting?
Narrowcasting is that you have to realize that from 1980 to now, in 1980, the broadcasters had 80% of the market. 80% of the people watching television were watching broadcast television networks.
Wow.
Now it's 50% of the market. The cables, the web have taken away all of that from the networks. So now there is a much more fractionalized market. Now there are people who only watch shows about the home. There are people who only watch shows about cars. There are people who only watch shows about nature. And the networks can't service all of these people.
Right.
So what happens is the web and the cable are picking up on this, and they are tailoring their programming to an individual. So now it isn't so much the broad audience, the 50 million people audience. Now if you can get 2 or 3 million people then you're doing just fine.
Wow.
You don't have to, if you want to get that 18-year-old kid, you don't have to advertise on the Super Bowl and spend $1 million for a commercial. You spend a lot less money and you get yourself on some cable show that appeals just to, you put an ad in Jackass, and you're going to get what you want, because every jackass is 18 years old and he's going to watch what's going on.
So there's got to be winners and losers in this situation. I guess the losers are the ones who don't keep evolving as this process is evolving, because we're not at the end of this by any means, are we? This whole evolution of media.
Oh, no. I mean, the web has taken over. And it's not only affected television, it's affected newspapers.
Print, sure.
Print tremendously. It used to be where a newspaper, everything was rock solid. They had their classified ads, and they had their big department store ads, and they had all of these big print places. That's not happening anymore. Now what's happening is also the newspapers are losing their audience. The same narrowcast audience that is being catered to by the television, they're also getting it on the web. Wow. They're not reading newspapers anymore. Now, newspaper, you read a newspaper for entertainment and also for news.
Right.
Kids don't read newspapers for entertainment. They watch the web for entertainment and also for information, and they're getting their information on the web. They're not getting their information from newspapers. Hence
staugustine.com, and that's why, as we can see, more evolution, more development, and this very website right here, people are the powers that be are recognizing that this is where it's all going. I wonder if there'll be a day when we don't have print anymore.
Well, that'll be the saddest day. Also, the new narcissism. There may be a day when you don't have network television anymore.
Yeah.
When shows are going to be done out of some kid's garage. When it's going to be Narcissus U, where it's going to be MeTube, YouTube, iTube, WeTube. Because you look at Facebook, you look at all of these things that are going, and all of these big companies are investing in it.
Yeah.
Why did Google buy YouTube for $1.65 billion? Why did they do it? Why did they buy a company that has 67 people?
Right.
Why? Why? Because of all of the content that is all free, that's on there. I mean, the greatest idea in the world, the most wonderful, terrific idea in the world is there's free content out there.
Yeah.
I am a Google, right?
Right.
And so what do? I connect this free content to that free content, and I charge you for the connection.
Bingo.
Okay? So bingo. So all of the money I make, I didn't have to pay for. So now you have a newspaper that has reporters, that has research departments, that has big buildings, that has all of that stuff going on, right?
Right.
And they got nobody who's going to pay for that, right? But in the meantime, you got a million of these narcissistic kids who are now blogging, who now have their iPods and their cameras, and they're going sourcing all of this material.
Right.
And what are they doing? They're putting it on television, and all of these kids are eating it all up on the television. And the problem is, the main problem with all of this is the content is that, how do we know if it's any good?
Credibility. Where does credibility go in
That's
all
where
this?
I give you Wikipedia, which is the source material for all of these bloggers. And Wikipedia, you could find the most bizarre. I was telling you, I mean, helicopters eat their young. I guess they do. It was on Wikipedia, right? You know,
Oh, my
a monologue
goodness.
is a tree with one branch. I read it on Wikipedia. You know, so those are the things that are going on. So the future, really, the crime of it is that all of this great culture that we have could be eliminated.
Goodness.
If a kid is in a garage, he's not going to be making Star Wars.
Right.
And if Star Wars isn't supported by people who are buying tickets, and is supported by people who are paying on the web for it, and if you have great musicians and they're being pirated, and you're destroying all of these artistic people, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
What is the future? Do you want a future without culture?
Yeah.
Culture is all based on artists being paid a good amount of money.
Yeah.
And I'm afraid that if we keep going this route without protection, we could be in serious trouble.
You have these kind of discussions in your class with these communications majors? Because these are the kids.
Absolutely.
And you must get some phenomenal feedback from them about their perspective.
Well, I mean, let's talk about something as simple as pirating.
Right.
The MPAA says that, you know, that if you're pirating movies, if you're pirating records, CDs, what have you, that's against the law. That's illegal.
Right.
But with all of the outlets, with all the stuff that's going on, it's nothing to pirate stuff. And do you think that the MPAA and the record business is going to be able to have a lawsuit against everybody who's pirating stuff?
There's no way.
Absolutely no way to do it.
Yeah.
Now, the only way that I can appeal to these kids is to tell them that what they're going to be doing is they're going to be driving a source of tremendous entertainment, number one, and number two, potential employment out of the world.
Yeah.
The people who are going to suffer from this is there's going to be no money in the entertainment industry. There's going to be no money in the record industry unless there is some kind of solution to all of this pirating that's going on. So I say to them, and they all know it's being done, don't do it.
Right.
Because you're not only cutting your throat, all of this great area, resource is going to be eliminated. It's not going to be there anymore. They're going to be like dinosaurs.
Yeah.
And so what we try to do is we try to impress these kids on how important it is. I had one of the projects that we did for Students in Free Enterprise was we did for the Motion Picture Association of America, we did a film made by the kids in classes showing all the disadvantages of pirating. And we had people from the record industry, Stan Lynch from Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers.
Right here in St. Augustine.
Okay?
Yeah.
Stan came and he lectured. I think you've had him on your show.
Yes.
A wonderful, terrific guy. And
Really
he came
is.
to lecture the class and said, hey, look, guys, you see we have Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. You see you have a record industry. You see you have a music, a film industry.
Right.
All this may not be there anymore if you keep pirating. And the kids made these wonderful, terrific films.
Wow.
And what they did was they learned the importance of being ethical.
Yeah.
And ethics were really important. And by the same way, being creative.
Ethics and show business. Never thought you'd hear those.
No, it's just sort of
in the same sentence.
Yeah,
huh?
oxymoron all the way.
Barry, I want to ask if you can come back because we've got other topics. You've got other topics that you discuss with these students, things like convergence and
that's the future.
And I think we could do a whole segment on that if you'd be willing to join us again.
I just want to review
Please.
the idea of convergence, which was going to come from what I did talk about.
Right.
The future for the newspapers.
Right.
The future for television.
Mm-hmm.
The future for us to really sustain our culture, and we call it, digital Darwinism. I think
Right.
I call it that.
That's right. It's a great
digital
term.
Darwinism is the fact that all of this bad programming,
Yeah.
all of this bad news is driving the good news out of business.
Yeah.
There's Gresham's law of money, which says that bad currency will drive good currency out.
Yeah.
If you keep printing money,
Right.
then all of the paper money is going to drive out gold and silver. That's why gold and silver goes up, because they're real commodities.
Yeah.
The real gold, the real silver are stuff that are done by professionals.
Right.
Professional writers, professional filmmakers, professional newspaper people. These professionals are being driven out of the business by this wealth of web material,
Mediocrity.
by people in their garage, by bloggers, by people doing it.
Yeah.
And the new journalism, the new television, the new future, what I am teaching right now is called convergence television.
Right.
To survive in the new world and compete with the bloggers and compete with YouTube, you have to be multifaceted.
Right.
So I teach them, which is the convergence journalism. They must learn how to do print, they must learn how to do broadcast, and they must be able to communicate and do web material.
All of it.
All of it at the same time if they want to work in the new
Media. No specialization anymore.
No more.
Wow.
That's over.
Goodness.
That's gone. Economics have caused that. The YouTube has caused that. The tremendous digital empire has caused that. Just the way radio broadcasting was done a certain way, television replaced radio and broadcasting was done a certain way. The cable came in.
Right.
Now it's the web.
Wow.
Now it's the new way to do things, and that's really what I'm teaching. That's what we can talk about the next time.
Astonishing. This is living, breathing information as it's developing. That's what's so.
And there's tremendous resistance on the part of the academic world to do this, to make somebody a jack of all trades when they think specialization is the key.
Wow. Well, we've got to continue this dialogue, continue this conversation, and I hope you can come back to the old couch here on Airborne, and we can discuss more in the near future.
Great.
It's so
I'd
great.
love to.
It's so great to have you again,
Well, it's
Barry,
great to be
as
here, man.
always. Barry Sand, professor here at Flagler College, right in St. Augustine, an astute career. We can go on. I've just touched on it, and we'll have him back on Airborne real soon. You've been Airborne with Matt Jeffs on 88.5 FM and staugustine.com, bringing interesting people from your world so you can stay dialed into your community and the folks who make it tick. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.